Hi everyone, thank you for joining me for my second video tutorial. Today I'm going to be making a card using the stamp set called My Sweet Pea. So I'm starting out with some With the White cardstock, which is A5. I've got a piece of designer series paper from the Sweet Pea collection that's cut to 14.5 centimeters by 3 centimeters. And I'm just adhering that down to some Close to Cocoa cardstock, which is 14.7 by 3.2 centimeters. So I'm just adhering that down, and if there's any excess you can just cut that off. So I'm just cutting it off here. Okay, now I'm taking my Stampin' Up chocolate chip taffeta ribbon and I'm just laying it underneath, and I'm just going to tie a ribbon, tie a bow. Okay, so now my bow's done. You just want to apply some snail adhesive to the back of this piece, and I'm going to stick that down with an even space sort of on the top of my A5 card base. Okay, now what I've got is a piece of old olive cardstock. It measures 14 centimeters by 2 centimeters, and I'm just going in with my scissors and just randomly cutting little strips in to form the grass. And it's really just, just go in and chop into it. It doesn't have to be neat. In fact, it looks quite nice if it is sort of random and you get little bits that sort of curl over, so it looks quite nice if you can do it random. Okay, and now I'm just bringing in my Stampin' Up with the imaging sheet, and I've already stamped my bird from the My Sweet Pea stamp set onto the imaging sheet, and now I'm just colouring in onto the stamp again. So I'm using my Bashful Blue Stampin' Right marker to colour in the body, and then my Close to Cocoa Stampin' Right marker for the legs and for the beak. So I'm just going to bring it back in now. I'm just placing the grass down here just so I can get an idea of where I want the bird to stand. Okay, and then you can take that away, bring in your T-tool back in, and then I'm just going to huff on my stamp just to re-moisten the ink from the pens, and I'm going to butt it into the T-tool and press it straight down, and you can see there that it's exactly where I want it to be, so it's going to be in proportion with my grass. Okay, and then what I'm doing is I'm just repeating the same process with the little flower, and I'm using my Bashful Blue Stampin' Spot. And again, I'm just going to come in with my Stampin' Up and the imaging sheet just so I can get a good placement on that flower. And again with the second one, and I'm doing the same thing again with my with the sort of the bigger flower. It's more like a curlier petals on it, and I'm stamping this with my Pretty in Pink Stampin' Spot, and I'm just going to nestle it in between those two blue flowers that I've already stamped, and I'm doing it a little bit higher. Okay, and so now what I'm doing is I've got a little piece of scrap old olive cardstock, and I'm just cutting little strips down to make stems for the flowers. So you need 3, and again they don't need to be perfect. It's nice if they're not quite perfect. And now I'm using my two-way glue pen and just applying it to the back of the stem, and then you can stick that down. And the only thing you really need to do with this is just make sure that the stem comes up to the stamped image so it looks as if it's part of that image. And I'm going to repeat that for the other 3 stems. Okay, now this one here was a little bit too long, so I just cut that off because I didn't want it to show underneath the grass. So I've already applied some, oh sorry, before we do that, I'm just going to come in with the leaf and my Old Olive ink, again using the Stamp-A-Majig and the imaging sheet. I'm just going to place it on one side of the stem on the taller flower. Okay, now I've already applied some Stampin' Dimensionals to the back of my grass piece, so I'm just going to bring that in. Okay, so I've taken off the backing paper and I'm just going to line it up, and what I'm doing is I'm just trying to leave an even border all the way around. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm taking, it's like a stitched swirl stamp from the same stamp set, and I'm just going over that with the Close to Cocoa marker, and I'm just stamping that onto some scrap paper. It's Whisper White, again just tough on the stamp to re-moisten the ink. And I'm coming in now with my 3/4 inch circle punch, and I've turned it upside down so that I can see exactly where it is, so I can centre it. So I'm just going to pop that out and pop a dimensional on the back of this, and then again just pop that onto the centre of my pink flower. Now I didn't show it in the video, I forgot to do it, but I've also stamped the bird again onto some scrap paper and just cut out his body, and then I've popped it on to him, so there's a bit of dimension to him as well. And I'm just coming in here now with the Close to Cocoa marker, adding some faux stitching, and there you go. I hope you like it.